Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the online roundtable discussion entitled Experiencing Mental Health Challenges Amidst COVID-19 and Violence Due to Lacking Preparation for Public Health Emergencies. And I'm Raven Isla Buensuceso, Bachelor of Physical Education student, your host moderator for this evening. We create this kind of series to give some insights to Bataeños, and before we start to our major topic, I will give some insights about COVID-19. We have all been affected by COVID-19, and to this day it has not disappeared. The impact on us of the pandemic or the COVID-19 is huge and has really affected our daily lives. One that has also been affected is our education. So we are forced to adapt online schooling so that we do not stop our studies. We also have a few compatriots whose jobs have been affected. Many of us lose our jobs in the midst of COVID-19. Because of the pandemic, many have changed and many have been banned until now. According to the current news, COVID-19 is suddenly rising again. So we need to be more careful, not for only for ourselves, and but also for our family, that we go home every day so that they do not become infected. So in the online roundtable discussion, we invited some experts from Bataan Peninsula State University to provide us with information about the state of mental health in Bataan. So, let me allow me to introduce the different representative of different sectors. Let's start to the legal sectors.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Yna Marie Calma, representative for the legal sector.
Thank you, Miss Calma. Next, the education sector.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Ericka Cabral from Education Sector.
Thank you, Miss Cabral. And the third one is Miss Angela.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Angela Vega, your practitioner.
Thank you, Miss Angela de la Vega. And the last but not the least, the global and international sector.
Good evening, everyone. I am Vernice Bugay from Global and International Sector.
So let's start to our first question. First question is, um, I either wait, we have a rules and the guidelines. Sorry for ano, in this online roundtable discussion, we have rules and guidelines. So before we start, we need to dress appropriately. Then second, keep your microphone on mute if someone is speaking. The third one is remove distractions. And the fourth one is raise your hand if you want to say something or ask something. And the last one is each person is given equal right to participate or say their thoughts and opinions. So this is it, guys. So let's start to our first questions. The first question is, what are the common observation, practices, causes, and risk factors for physical education and sports in a school setting, challenges and issues amidst COVID-19 among Bataeños? Let's start to the legal sector.
Thank you. Sport could be a major supporter to financial and social advancement. It is a role is well recognized by governments, counting within the political declaration of the 2030 Agenda, which reflects on the commitment sports make to the strengthening of the ladies and youthful individuals, people, and communities, as well to well-being, instruction, and social incorporation objectives. Since its onset, the COVID-19 widespread has spread to nearly all the nations of the world. Social and physical removing measures, lockdowns of the businesses, schools, and general social life, which have ended a commonplace to abridge the spread of the illness. So this approach Brief highlights the challenges COVID-19 has brought to both the sporting world and physical movement of well-being in Bataeños. It assists gives suggestions for governments and other partners as well for the framework to back the secure reviving of sporting events as well as to back physical amid the widespread. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Calma. The next one is the educational sector.
So yes, for the educational sector, coronavirus disease or COVID-19 has had a substantial impact on vulnerable communities in Bataan, highlighting major health disparities, or particularly among underprivileged youth. Physical activity, which is a crucial promoter of healthy physical, social, emotional, and mental health in youth, is encouraged in school settings. Um, Recent results, however, show that COVID-19 pandemic had physical activity related impacts in our school age adolescents, including disease, physical activity involvement, and increased sedentary behavior during the home learning session compared to before the pandemic. COVID-19 also has indirect impacts on minority and low-income adolescents, um, such as increase in poverty, lost learning opportunities, lower social, emotional, and mental health, and greater school dropouts rates, including students who stop in their studies because of the situations, and to school closures. All in all, COVID-19 here in Bataan changes the lives of many Bataeños, including the students and professors, because they have difficulties in teaching clearly and giving another learnings to students, just like in physical education. We all know that um, it needs it needs a physical contact for us to conduct a greater way to make students acquire knowledge to it. But because of what was happening until now, we are stick in doing it in an online setup. Thank you.
Very good, Miss Cabral. Next is practitioner.
So, PE has been one of the most challenging subjects to teach online. Despite of the pandemic and COVID-19 restriction, such as the closure of schools and cancellation of youth sports and activity classes, teachers still manage to conduct activities such as online Zumba competition and pawikan festivals in Bataan. With no gymnasiums, sports field, or playgrounds, teachers are rushing for inventive ways to keep learners physically active at a time when experts believe students' physical and mental health is vital.
Thank you, Miss De La Vega. And the last but not the least, the global and international sector.
When we face our colossal enemy, which is the COVID-19, that dominated the entire world and brought about massive change, we face numerous challenges, particularly in our education, which was the most affected by the pandemic, especially the physical education, which plays an important role in establishing healthy routines, but was forced to close schools globally due to the pandemic. Distance learning, poor connections, and financial issues are factors limiting physical education teachers' ability to teach students learning from home. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Bugay. And the next question is what are the regulating and statutory policies and guidelines that examine social and economic determinants of PE of Bataeños? Let's start again to the legal sector.
Thank you. In the wake of the COVID-19, online physical education has become the essential to the sustainability of school physical education programs. The purpose of consider the factors that may be influential in efforts to deliver students. The comprehensive school physical activity program models is used to frame a multi-component conceptualization of physical education and sports. Central to this framing the inter-school physical educations, the family, and the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Calma. Next, the educational sector.
The primary purpose of institutionalized education has been to increase children's cognitive ability in the sense of acquiring academic courses and physically active in terms of being fit and to make the Bataeños capable in physical education. In Bataan, physical education and sports are the sole opportunities for all students to learn about physical movement and participate in physical exercise and as well as to adopt learnings that this subject is not just to be physically fit but also to give importance to the different sports that we all know and love. As previously stated, um, its objective and role in formalized education has shifted from teaching cleanliness and health to educating students about the numerous kinds and advantages of physical activity such as sports and exercise. Physical education and sports have grown into a subject area with a wide range of educational purposes that help students um, in Bataan to develop holistically. And to conclude, physical education is a way for the Bataeños um, to make them realize the importance that it gives for ourselves in terms of health and for the province that make mark a history in terms of sports and even in exercises. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Cabral. And next, Miss Practitioner.
Due to pandemic, the government of Bataan imposed a restriction to prevent the virus from spreading, including social distancing and in the need to wear a face mask and face shield in public places. Because of the lockdown, students are not able to go to school and there's no chance to have face-to-face classes. That's why when they need to conduct an activity, they do it virtually, for example, online Zumba or webinars. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Dela Vega. And last, the global and international sector.
Due to the increase of pandemic, governments all over the world impose restrictions to prevent the spread of the virus broadly. However, vaccinations is the World Health Organization or the WHO is the top priority. And according to the article I read online, the virus has claimed more than 2.5 million lives worldwide, with up to 113 million cases confirmed by laboratory tests. However, in the year 2021, they began giving vaccines to all over the countries, and 30 million vaccines have been administered all over the world in the hopes that our world will become to normal. Also, in the year 2021, students will be given the opportunity to be vaccinated in order to possibly begin the new school year with the face-to-face classes. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Bernice. Very good answer. The the next question is, what platforms or best practices, interventions, mechanism to identify physical education and sports and socioeconomic consequences of poor preparation on academic and health emergencies like COVID-19 for Bataeños? Let's start to the legal.
Thank you. Major sporting associations have appealed the solidarity with efforts to decrease the spread of the infection. For the case, FIFA has joined up with the World Health Organization, or what we call the WHO, and propelled a pass the message to kick out the coronavirus. Every players in 13 dialects calling on individuals to take after the 5 key steps to stop the spread of the infection or the virus. In Bataeños, it also centered on hand washing, coughing behavior, not touching one's comfort, physical distance, and staying at home if not feeling well. So other universal support for improvement and peace organization have together to back one another's solidarity amid this time. So through the virtual online talks or discussion, they share the challenges and the issue. So every participant of the members in such online exchanging a dialogue to look for a plan or imaginative solutions in a bigger social issues. By recognizing ways that the sport associations can react to this issue confronted, faced by each of us, not only for Bataeños. Thank you.
Very good, Miss Calma. Next is educational sector.
So for the educational sector, we all know that physical education in sport is a subject that is known by all youth in terms of physical activity. And it is one of the mandatory subjects in different schools in Bataan, because it is included into their curriculum. Moreover, because of what was happening right now, COVID-19 is still there that affects different school activities, especially the traditional face-to-face classes that turns into online classes. The subject, physical education, got affected too, since we all know that for us to learn this subject, we must see it actually, especially if the teacher is conducting a practicum, or even when there even when there is a sport that is unfamiliar for us, our professor portray it to us so that we can easily understand it. Added to this, although it is traditional that physical education and sports programming is conducted in a face-to-face state, but because of what was happening, it sets in own challenges or difficulties. Um, Schools automatically close for us to take care the health of every person due to COVID-19. Physical education and sports teacher and administrators in Bataan were quickly required and changed them change change them to a custom tradition teaching and go to go to deliver it in a different virtual program platforms without proper knowledge and training on how to use it. They encourage themselves to the new normal way for them to address their students in giving learnings, and even in preschool through senior high school, their subject in physical education and sports shifts to virtual learning platforms. Furthermore, youth with disabilities um, um, experience additional disparities since they are more reliant on school physical education for physical activity involvement and have difficulties to being physically active at home, and due to uneven access to technology, constant high-speed internet, adult supervision and assistance, sports equipment, and physical space to participate in online physical education, online learning is inherently inequitable for school age adolescents, and it is difficult for them to keep up to other students who has a capability and doesn't feel the toughness of the new normal. Thank you.
Very good answer, Miss Cabral. And next is practitioner.
So, because of the pandemic, many students lost interest in engaging in physical activity, and this resulted in acquiring different diseases. For example, being addicted in playing online games. As we all know, many students are being addicted in playing online games, and as a result, they don't have time to engaging in physical activity. Students were prone to gadgets, that's why online games became the solution to their boredom. And because of that, they lost interest in engaging in physical activity. Thank you po.
Thank you, Miss De La Vega. Next is global and international sector.
According to the World Economic Forum article, more than 1.2 billion children in 186 countries are currently affected by school closures due to the pandemic. The government came up with a solution of online classes where lack of preparedness is visible. But they still continue with the new normal education, which has affected the students' physical and mental health. Where children cannot attend classes in person, supports should be given to ensure students have continued access to educational materials and technologies, like internet or television, to delivering assignments or broadcasting lessons. Shutting down educational facilities should only be considered when no alternatives are available. With this kind of situation, that we are breathing the same air, somewhat fresh, the trees and plants bear greener leaves, and the garbage floating in the rivers and shore also are lessening. People have lived the value of saying health is wealth, from washing of hands to wearing face masks and face shields. And even in positive results, uh, publication distance relationship by keeping distance with people, especially to those who are strangers in our life. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Vernice. And the next question is um, share or present, propose, and explain holistic and integrative approaches to prevent academic resist in management and ensure readiness on public health emergencies for Bateeños in the context of physical education and sports. So let's start again to the legal sector.
The worldwide community can embrace the One Health approach within the battle against COVID-19 by taking after the steps. To begin with, conduct an interview, facilitated reconnaissance, and observing amid the widespread within a seat to examining the illness, design, and patterns concentrated of the transmission, geological, and effect of the widespread for alteration of the existing reaction methodologies. Second, build up a coordinates human and creature well-being research facilities that will offer assistance to reinforce the capacity to conduct coordinates considered COVID-19. Third, collaborate and share conventions, thoughts, and rules on COVID-19 determinations, translation of comes about, announcing a framework and information sharing. This will guarantee that the same guidelines are watched around the world for determinations and comes about sharing. Fourth, governments ought to facilitate multi-sectoral engagement and association with one health approach partners within the battle against COVID-19 so as to speed up anticipation in Allen's reaction. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Calma. Next is educational sector.
For education, COVID-19 has a huge impact to us. Most importantly, Most importantly, schools got affected. In the province of Bataan, wherein we are still conducting the new normal learning because of continuous spread of infected. We are not that ready to mandate or try to face-to-face learning because it is very risky to the students, professors, staffs, and to all the people that might be involved into it. But in terms of the involvement of physical education and sport in an online setup, if it is implemented in a proper way, it has the potential to alleviate health inequalities caused by inequitable opportunities for opportunities for physical activity participation. Moreover, there's so many ways for us to deliver a proper knowledge to the students for them to acquire their deserved learnings. Indeed, it is tough, but if all Bataeños aid each other, we can surpass the academic crisis that is still happening. And we can also include here that we are ensure the safety of everyone. Added to this, physical education instructors' viewpoints are crucial in the development of online physical education and sport tools that best supplement and support high quality in-person programming while taking into account the different learning and physical activity requirements for students in Bataan. To sum it, physical education in sports is really one of the subject that is difficult to teach since the capabilities is limited due to online classes. But despite of it, we Filipinos, the Bataeños, are gumshoes in we can everything and we can solve every problem that must come our way with a helping hand and the hope that everything will be back to normal. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Cabral. And next is practitioner.
So, as a practitioner, I will explain to my students the importance of physical education and tell them that physical education is not just sports, but also for improving their health and well-being. I will conduct a webinar, and it is all about the significance of physical education and sports to the students' health. By doing this, I can encourage them to engage in physical activity. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Dela Vega. And last, the global and international sector.
Preparedness in cities and in other urban settlements is critical for effective national, regional, and global responses to COVID-19. These settings face unique dynamics that affect preparedness. They serve as travel hubs, have a higher risk of disease spread due to the high population densities, and many have extensive public transport networks. Risk and crisis communications and community engagement that encourage compliance with measures, contextually appropriate approaches to public health measures, especially physical distancing, hand hygiene, and respiratory etiquette, and access to healthcare services for COVID-19, and the continuation of essential service. It is true that physical education promotes healthy living and will make students more effective citizens in the near future, but it also aims to create meaningful and enjoyable activities to enhance students' cognitive and psychomotor development. And in order to prevent academic crisis worldwide in the context of physical education and sports, I believe that conducting online forum and symposium will have a significant impact on preventing academic crisis on the national and global scale. For the following reasons, we can easily approach each individuals in this matter to educate and enlighten them on the importance of physical education and sports. Thank you.
Thank you. So, may I know if you have any if you have a questions? Please raise your hand if you have a questions. If no, I have a follow up questions here. Do you all agree with do you all agree with your answers and why? I repeat the questions. Do you agree? Do you all agree with your answers and why? Let's start to the legal sectors.
Yes, I agree, no. As a legal sectors, I we aims or we aims to lower the risk and mitigate the effects of the health crisis. So I agree all the answers po. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Calma. What about educational sector? Do you agree?
Um, yes, for the educational sector, for me, yes, I agree that my all of my answers are right because I know I answered correctly and mentioned all that was needed to be said. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Cabral. How about the practitioner?
For me, yes. Because I did an extensive research to support my claims.
Thank you, Miss De La Vega. And last, the global and international sector.
Yes, I agree. Because as what Miss De La Vega said, I have searched for more information so that it can qualify or my claims towards the questions that I answered.
So thank you for your participation in this online roundtable discussion. But before we end this online roundtable discussion, I just want you to give your concluding statement or advocacy promoting mental health and preventing violence, employing and physical educations. So let's start to the legal sector.
As a physical education or as a uh, Bachelor of Physical Education, my advocacy is to give the real purpose of health and well-being. I give to give to give the knowledge and understanding, skills, capabilities, and attributes necessary for the mental, emotional, and social and physical well-being now and in the future. Thank you.
How about the educational sector?
My advocacy as physical education practitioners is that to make students unique and adapt the educational environments on where they can develop physically, mentally, emotionally, and socially. I will provide a safe environment wherein students are invited to share their ideas that can lead them to express themselves, accept accept others, embrace their capabilities, and start to build the mindset that in life we need to be brave and have the courage in pursuing our dreams.
Thank you, Miss Cabral. And next, the practitioner.
So, as a Bachelor of Physical Education student, my advocacy is to assess everyone and explain to them it's important, particularly to the students who are having mental health issues, in engaging in any physical activity that may help them to become a better person, enhance their mind, and most importantly, provide them with a meaningful existence. Just like the quotes, health is like money. We never have a true idea of its value until we lose it. Thank you.
And next, Miss De La Vega.
So, as a physical education practitioner, I will become a quality teacher that will guide and support my students. I will guide them in the right way and help them engage in physical activity that will help them to discover and develop their potentials that would contribute to their life. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss De La Vega. And as a future educator, I will motivate my future student and encourage them, especially to the students have mental issues, to participate in any physical activity to relax and improve their mind. So today, our hashtag is healthy living for well-being. So this is our hashtag. So, and that's all. That's all for today. Thank you for your listening and I hope you learned something from us. Thank you.
May, okay na.